Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back into my garage, my man cave for another day of accountability. I hope you guys are doing well today. Today is Friday, it's June 5th, the year 2020, and I want to talk to you today about Hebrews chapter 2. Now, Hebrews chapter 2 talks about true sacrifice and how Jesus was made like us so that we could be like him. Now, as leaders, we're supposed to be the forerunners, and we're supposed to be the ones that go out and test the dark waters to make sure that it's safe for the rest of the followers to come through, that there's no debris in their way, that they won't fall or stumble. We're supposed to be strong and full of power like that. So let's take a look at how Jesus was like a leader in this instance. And Jesus went before us to pay the ultimate price. He sacrificed himself for us. He died, but he rose again. He beat death, and he did all of this so that we can be in the presence of the Almighty forever, for eternity. In verse 9 in Hebrews 2, it tells us that Jesus was made lower than the angels, and they still worshipped him. He tasted death for us all, even though he's the immortal God. So he is God. The angels know him as God, and he was made as a human, so he was made lower than the angels, it says, and that was only for a time, and that's 33 years when Jesus was a human, and the angels still worshipped him during that time. They still knew that he was fully God, even though he was fully man. Verse 10 goes on to tell us that he suffered, even though he is the all-powerful Savior. He suffered for us so that he could get to know what our temptations are like. Verses 11 through 13 tell us that he calls us brothers and sisters even though he created us all. Now that's a funny thing because as a creator, you wouldn't think like, oh, these are my brothers and sisters, because one, you're the creator, and that goes to show you just how much human intellect really grasps about creation and how God is with us, and why he calls us brothers and sisters when Jesus is talking about that. So he was willing to share humanity even though he is the perfect spirit, verse 14 tells us. So that's something that's cool. Now, why would Jesus even go through any of that, any of the suffering or sacrifice? And it's something that is answered in verses 17 and 18, and it tells us that he did this so he could be merciful to us in our humanity. He could empathize with us over our temptations, and so he could deliver us from suffering. Now that's what verses 17 and 18 tell us, but really he wanted to be merciful through our temptations because he went through the same temptations that we go through. He was able to see firsthand what we go through as humans, and he was able to overcome that, but he could still empathize with us. Like, he can still understand where we're coming from, and even understanding where we're coming from, he still wanted to save us, and he still wanted us to be in the presence of the Almighty for eternity. Because he suffered himself when he was tempted, he's able to help those who are being tempted. He knows our struggle because he was once like us, human, and he is the atonement for us in order for us to be able to spend eternity with God. And nothing is more beautiful or more powerful than for a leader to lay down his own life, his or her own life, for the ones that they love. That is just the ultimate, I guess it's not a test, but it's just one of those sacrificial blessings that he was able to give us to think about. Like, there's so many things in life that we don't bat an eye at, that we don't pay attention to, that we just take for granted, and we don't even think that for 1 minute Jesus sacrificed his life, his human life, so that we could be more like him. Now, would we sacrifice our life for him in the same circumstance? I would like to say yes, but I know that my answer would be no because I'm flawed, I'm human, and I am not God. So I know that I would want to say yes, but when it came down to it, humans just end up trying to fight for themselves because they think that humanity is the best that there is because it's the only thing that they know at this time. Um, Big picture, though, is that this life is so short and it's so meaningless that we're here in order to help bring the lost to the found. We're here to bring people to Jesus. And we want that eternity for everybody, or that needs to be our mindset. And if it's not our mindset, we need to go ahead and we need to do a gut check on why it is that we don't want to help somebody when we have the answer. So Penn from Penn and Teller, Penn Jillette, even talks about if we have the cure for somebody, how much would we hate them in order to not give it to them? And Penn Jillette is an atheist. He's not even a Christian. So he gets what we're supposed to be doing, even though he doesn't believe. He understands that we say that we have a cure for death. But if we're not willing to go out and to give it to the people that we love, even the people that we love, not necessarily just the random so-and-so on the side of the street, but if we can't even tell the people that we love about the cure, how much do we hate them? And it just really resonates in that, like, there's nothing else that you could do to explain it, and he makes a great point, and for that I'll always remember what he said about that. So just some food for thought. We need to be more like Jesus. That's what we're supposed to do, and in order to do that, we can just follow the path that he laid out for us, because he became like us in order for us to be able to turn around and become more like him. So all right, thanks guys for hanging out with me. I hope that your days become more and more accountable, that you're able to be in the Word or able to be in prayer or whatever you're working towards, that you will be able to overcome. And if you liked anything that I talked about here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you think that somebody in your inner circle could definitely benefit from hearing this, go ahead and share it with them. Lastly, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell if you want to get my videos every day. You can like, comment, you can ask me questions, you can just leave me statements. I read everything that you guys send my way, and I do enjoy getting all of the thumbs up and comments that come through. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow as another day of accountability in my trek. My couch is always open for you, and I hope that you have a great day. Be safe and go and grow. God bless.